What's happening, guys? Larry Milburn here with ROADIE Free Radio. I am on the John Lennon Educational Tour bus here at NAMM 2018 with some new buddies, Frank and Thor from OWC Technologies.
Super excited.
Right?
To be here. Yep.
And we're talking about some hard drives. We're talking about some new stuff that just hit the world for you guys, basically. You just came back from Sundance.
Yeah.
You crushed it with this little thing that we're going to talk about. And we're going to get into not only these products, but what would a podcaster, musician, indie filmmaker use from these guys that would help production flow and getting from point A to point B and backing up and all that good stuff, right?
Yeah.
So what do we got? How was Sundance, first of all?
Yeah, so Sundance was pretty crazy for us, honestly. We launched this is the new Thunderblade. This is the world's fastest hard drive, basically the fastest hard drive that's ever been made in human history, right?
The world's
Absolutely.
fastest hard drive.
So this is 8 terabytes, can transfer at a maximum of 4 gigabits per second. What this is big on, so this is $5,000, right?
Yeah.
What this is big on is the 4K, what we're calling the 4K and 8K dilemma. In general, 4K, 8K is expanding the amount of data that these folks are shooting on a daily basis, right?
Yeah.
Looks fantastic on the TV, but what it does is it completely breaks the workflow that has existed for 50 years in how you make movies, right? So these guys, MGM, Warner Brothers, come to us and say, how can you make something that allows for us to condense the time at the end of the day where we need to see all the footage that we're going to be working with, which gives us an opportunity to say, I think we got everything we need, let's break the set down. There's hundreds of thousands of dollars in savings in that.
Sure.
Because the 4K and 8K is elongated that time, suddenly you're in day 2 or 3 by the time you even know what's on this.
Right.
In that period right there is what we're saying to these guys is, we're going to collapse that, give that back to you, which makes you a better filmmaker. You can spend that 250 grand making a better movie instead of paying someone to sit and stare at a hard drive loading screen. We went to Sundance feeling like we got a pretty good product, right? Fastest hard drive in human history. Let's see how this thing goes. I think we came back with a sense of, what would you say?
I think we solve a problem for the industry.
Pretty dramatic. Yeah, it was pretty dramatic,
I mean, it's
really.
pretty crazy, too.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that you keep saying that this is the fastest hard drive in history.
I kind of like
Fastest
saying
hard drive in
that.
the
It just
world.
feels
I know.
like a cool
You've
thing
dropped
to
it
say.
like 3 or 4
yeah,
times.
Yeah, I like
that.
it. It's cool.
But it's wild. Like, there it is. That's what it
Yes.
looks like.
This is what it is. It's easy to take with you. It's easy to have on set. It's easy.
Yeah.
It solves problems for on location, right? So it's 8 terabytes. So what does this translate to? These are a lot of numbers, right? So let me break it down for the simplicity of it. 24 frames a second, 4K, full day of shooting. Let's say you got 8 terabytes in the can.
Yeah.
I can do 8 terabytes transferred in under 4 hours. So what does that mean to you? It means that I can get you your dailies daily.
Right.
So as a producer in EP, go to lunch, come back, I'm gonna have your dailies ready for you.
Yeah. I mean, not only are you saving, you know, the higher ups at a studio and whatnot, but if you're a DIT, you don't feel that pressure of the producers, like, where's my footage, you know, all that kind of stuff. Where it's like, they're transferring stuff, there it is.
Yeah, it's all in front of you all the time, which is
Yeah.
where it should be, right?
Yeah.
It shouldn't be stuck in a loading screen. It should be in front of the creators that are really making this stuff happen. And we want to be able to be the lever that they can use to get that stuff in front of them, right?
Yeah.
The other big piece for us is we are dedicated to the creativity side of this and kind of making all this stuff work, taking all the technology out of the picture and make the creativity kind of the front face.
Sure.
So what we're trying to do is use this as kind of the high-end studio piece.
Yep.
If you're someone that's a burgeoning filmmaker and still wants to be able to get access to all your stuff at the end of each day, you're still sitting down at the end of every day trying to figure out what's next, right? And that's a big part of your workflow.
Yeah.
We've built another drive that is sort of a complementary piece that's a stair step to this. This is the Envoy Pro EX.
Okay.
This is 2 terabytes, bus powered, so it doesn't have to plug into the wall. Also completely silent. So we make both of these silent for film sets, right? This is $1,500, 2 terabytes, can do about 1,800 gigabits per second. So you're still looking at the second fastest hard drive in the world, right? Behind this one. The 2 fastest hard drives that have ever existed are made for people that are making movies so they can focus on making movies and not on transferring data.
Wow.
That is our big play, and this leverages Thunderbolt 3 technology
Yep.
in ways that really no one else has done yet.
Yeah.
And to our feeling is that the reason that this has kind of been missed is because folks aren't focusing at the level deep enough with the motion picture folks to know what are these issues.
Yeah.
Frank and I are trying to find those kinds of people, just like you, right? That can tell us, steer us in the direction that makes your life easier and you more creative.
Yeah.
We'll make products that we can layer in that just make all that work for you.
Well, the nice part also right off the bat is, like you said, 8 terabytes, right? Look at this thing. Look how small this is.
Yeah.
It is.
I mean, you throw 4 of these in a flight case or something.
That's right.
You know, I mean, this comes in a flight case, right? A little mini flight case with power and all that kind of stuff.
It does.
Totally.
It does. And the feedback is that everybody wants to figure out a way to put 6 of these in a case and have them be on set.
Yeah.
Right. It's not an entry price point.
Right.
This is a professional studio edition type drive.
Sure.
What we found though is that with the 2 terabyte, the bus power drive, this is really a creative drive, right? So touring professionals, they're on tour, 80 concerts a year, right? Come back to the hotel room, maybe you're tweaking something from playing on stage that night, you're thinking through the notes, you're working through it, right? Maybe let me change up some timing, and all of a sudden you figure out, I didn't just change up the timing, I just made a new song. Right? We're bus powered. Plug this in, fire up Pro Tools, get those new tracks down immediately. Finish the tour. When you get back home, start working on your songs. That's where we fit in here. We're gonna ship this with 4 bands that are different colors. So let's say, for example, you want to color code them because you have 4 of them and you want to assign 4 tracks and then fire them all up together. Add those in. There you go.
That's awesome.
I've got 5 minutes. I just laid something down that's incredible, but I got to get it off of this drive and we got to get out of here. Which of these hard drives is the right one?
And rather than putting a piece of tape on and get sticky and all that kind of crap, the band, that's a great idea. I mean, when I work with a client, I also put in my contract to buy at least 2 drives, right? One that's the working drive and one that's the archive drive, if not 3. And at this price point, I mean, you can feasibly make that happen.
No doubt.
Very cool.
Yeah, and that's actually pretty common all the way up to like the Warner Brother level, right? These guys are sending hard drives in every direction for contingency plans and insurance and all that kind of stuff. And that is all, again, an extension of the issue, right? Every time that you push this from one drive to the next, you're just extending that whole deal, right? And so we're just trying to press this back down. And I think in general, our focus for these 2 products is how can we take what's happening at the highest level, leverage the technology to solve those big problems, and then filter all that stuff into the consumer side so you can start to be able to attach into folks that are just starting, right? Or maybe it's some kids that are on the Lennon bus that are trying to figure out how to play music or how to shoot film. We are passionate at like every single level of this, right? We feel like the biggest mark that we can make right now is at the highest level of technology, but we're super passionate about pushing this down to a more affordable level for a consumer, that suddenly you start to have drives where, we're at Sundance, right? We're talking to a guy that's running a huge studio, and this is like the game changer for them, right? But we got a guy that comes up and says, I'm just shooting indie films, I'm trying to become this kind of guy, right? We're like, hey, we've got something for you as well. We're gonna leverage the same kinds of technology, but put it in a form factor that suddenly is a little bit more manageable for you. This is what that is. And I think in general, our focus is how can we continue to do things like that bridge that gap. So you're going from here at a consumer level. We want to build your abilities to get to this level where suddenly this kind of stuff is worthwhile. So how can we kind of make that a full story for these guys and kind of help the creators along so that they can be as successful as they can. Focus on creativity instead of on hard drives and technology.
Right, exactly. I mean, the nice part, you can tell with this thing, right? Like, it's definitely robust and it's definitely durable. And a lot of times you get down into the smaller level, they're not, right? They start to feel like they're little. And I mean, I came out here with 2 drives to back up audio footage and video footage and do interviews, stuff like that. Throw them in the bag. I mean, this thing, it feels like one piece and it's solid.
Yeah, and it's crazy too, as we're going through the process of building these, like, it's not easy to build something that's completely silent, that can transfer at 4 gigabits per second. It's actually it's a hugely difficult deal, right? At every point that we're building this thing, we're thinking, it'd be a lot easier if we threw a fan in this thing, right? But all the filmmakers we talk to are like, you can't have a fan, right? It's just an absolute non-starter. And so what's great is that we've got this great connection with Academy Award-winning filmmakers. These guys have been using our drives forever, and so we're able to leverage these wonderful contacts, friends, and family that we've got out there that are creators to say, steer us in the right direction, right? We're making this stuff for you. What does it absolutely have to do? And at times, it makes our job a lot more difficult. It's much more difficult to solve this in a completely silent way. But that was what was required. And so you end up with this thing that looks like it's got, you know, like a weaponized capability, right? But that's the technology that we built into this because it was essential that it's completely silent. Whoops.
Right.
And it's the same with this. Super rugged, super silent. That was like an absolute have to have.
Yep.
And so we crank on engineering to really make that work, and we're excited to launch it in the last couple of weeks.
What's this piece? Because that's new as well, right?
Right, that's our Thunderbolt 3 dock. It's really an answer from enterprise all the way down to the home user. So Apple has done a good job of upsetting the apple cart, if you will. From time and time again, they take away ports that you may or may not need through and through again. So on this, you find 10 gigabit Ethernet, USB, Thunderbolt 2, HDMI, audio, video. We give you these capabilities in this dock to be able to sit down. And you can see we fit in well with the Apple market. We're Apple-centric looking. This is a product that allows you to kind of move forward and have a dock at home to use all of your peripherals, or at your desk to use all your peripherals, or if you're on the road, to extend to all of your peripherals.
Right, it's fantastic.
So we solve a problem, enterprise to home.
I love it. And I like that you included FireWire 800.
Right?
Yeah,
For us old guys,
we've been talking to people like you, man.
So you know the FireWire, we play a huge part with FireWire in many industries, but one of the major industries that we play a huge part in is in the audio industry.
Yeah.
There's people who've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars in the studio to outfit their studios with the Avids of the world who are using FireWire.
Yeah.
We're keeping those capabilities alive and making it easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think generally, right, like to Frank's point, we're increasingly seeing less ports on Macs, right? Macs have been embedded in the creative works flow and kind of a part of that universe. And so our piece is how we can, I think, add some value is we're going to keep all the things that you need to make all the stuff that you've invested in still work. But you can drop in a new 15-inch MacBook Pro and nothing changes, right? The other big thing for this is that it's Mac and PC now. So certified through Thunderbolt for both Mac and PC. So phenomenal for mixed-use environments, right? You have both of these drives plugged in, mixed-use environment where somebody drops down with a Dell XPS, plugs it in, everything lights up, monitors, 2 4K monitors, you can get it all going. They unplug, go off to where they're going. The next guy, second editor comes in, drops his MacBook Pro down, same scenario. Everything fires up,
That's very
same
cool.
speeds, it all works, 4K monitors. So it's us plugging in the dots of, we know what these guys have done historically.
Yeah.
We know that this trail that Apple's making is the future, but we don't want to abandon these creative guys that we've built this great relationship with.
Right.
So we say, hey, we're going to make a dock that leaves a long enough trail to where you can keep all this stuff and evolve alongside Apple.
Right.
So you're not having to abandon all this stuff that's really worked well for you over the years.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So we're passionate about this stuff.
I like it, man. So tell me a little bit about your connection with Lennon here, the Lennon Educational Tour Bus, and why it's such a big deal for you.
It's a great partnership. We partnered with the Lennon Bus for a few years now. This year we're the title sponsor. We're really happy to be the title sponsor. They get to make their way across the U.S. Teaching and integrating at schools with kids, teach them how to get into this industry, how to be musicians, how to work on the backside of these videos, right?
Yeah.
Where does all the production come from, right? This gives them an opportunity to be in front of this type of equipment at a very early age and drive that home for them.
Right.
It's very special. It's very unique, and it's an opportunity that we have to take part in that technology.
Yeah.
And we want to support that.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. And I think the thing, again, we're about creators, right? Like we want to enable the creativity, and there's I don't know if there's any better example of folks that really embody that than the John Lennon Educational Foundation, right?
Yeah.
Dropping in, giving these kids an example of what does it look like to sit behind the scenes? Do I just have to be the guy at the mic in order to be in the music industry? They see the depth of roles and opportunities that exist throughout the workflow process, right? Of going end to end.
Yeah.
That's where we are. We're already embedded in that whole universe. And so for us to be involved at the early level, to inspire kids to say, oh, you know what? I didn't think that I could play guitar, but I love music. I can still be in the music industry and make a living of it, right? And then for us to be able to say, Frank and I, hey, we talk to these guys all the time. This music industry is a real deal, right? People spend their whole lives in it. To just open the eyes of a kid like that at an early stage. I mean, I had folks like that in my life that just it was like, oh, life doesn't have to be, pushing paper and I can do something that I love. That's allowed, right? what I love about the music that they get out of this, like we were just watching some music videos that I cry every time I see it, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like to see the truth and the beauty in these kids and just to let them express it openly. Every single time they stop, these guys are saints, man. I feel like they leave behind a trail of love and
awesome.
and positivity. And so, I mean, there's no better way for us to communicate what we do as a business at an early stage, right? But at the same time, it also is that creative element where it's like, let's hone in on the realness of this, what the truth is. And the truth is, it's about the creativity and the music and the love. And these guys that's what this is all about. So it makes sense for our whole ecosystem, business and workflows and all that stuff. They use all of our drives, and we power this stuff from a dock and a hard drive perspective.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that really gets us going and makes us tick is the creative side. And there's no better expression of it, I think, than every single stuff that these guys do at schools. It's as cool as it gets.
I agree. We're not the guitar, we're not the soundboard, we don't sing.
Yeah.
Right? But we're passionate about solid state drives. We're passionate about technology. And here we are at NAMM talking with you.
Yeah.
Right? Just met James Brown's guitarist.
Right.
Right? And he's excited. He invited us over to his studio, right? He wants to see our products.
Yeah.
If you're excited about technology and you're excited about the music industry, there's a place in the world for you. And I think that's what we're excited about, right? We get to show people that there's a place in the world for you.
This is equally as important as your guitar, amp, keyboard, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
Today.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
There was a time when it wasn't. I mean,
I'm gonna go in and get Les Paul and bring him out here and let you tell him that. He knows what I'm gonna do.
well, but it is. I mean, you got to back yourself up. You can't just have a camera and not put it somewhere. Not put that footage somewhere. You can't make a podcast and not have a place to store that important interview and do it quickly. Be able to turn it around quickly, or whatever it is. And so to me, this stuff is equally as important. It's your gear. It's how you create.
Yeah.
Right.
I think so, and I think part of what we're thinking about, why we enjoy what we do, is because we get to meet with someone like you, right, who introduced us to a camera guy, and all of a sudden we go, hey, what do you care about? What's your pain point, right? And you guys will say, hey, what do you do? And we say, well, we care about education. You guys want to meet someone on the Lennon bus, right? And get these opportunities to bring everything together, right? And it's all about educating. There's a thing that I really enjoy, and it's called growth and contribution, right? And I think that's what the end result is with a bus like the Lennon bus, is growth and contribution.
Yeah.
It's bigger than us.
Yeah.
And it's not about things, it's about people.
Yeah.
And I think that's why we're here.
Cool.
And we appreciate that. So thank you.
Yeah.
These guys are deep. These guys are a lot deeper than I thought.
We
sat down.
We're real,
talking
man.
about drives.
We're bringing it in.
Wow, you may start crying.
Oh, I'm there. I was
With a
just
name
crying
like
a few
Thor-
minutes ago
with a
watching
name
the
like
movie.
Thor, though, I was not going to start crying. Man.
We were going to call it Thor's Hammer.
Yeah,
We were just gonna,
I like it, man.
Yeah.
So
yes.
let me just finish with this,
Yeah.
right? Because I think this is the biggest takeaway for folks that are thinking about, like hearing what we're talking about, that this is an approachable industry and that you want to inspire your kids to see what this is about. There has never been a better time to be an artist and to get the opportunity to create music and to do things creatively. It's easier than it's ever been, right? And so what we leverage the Lennon Bus guys to do, and what we try to do at the same time, is inspire people to just go start making stuff, right?
Yeah.
Be creative, get out there and do it. It's never been easier, right?
Right.
If you're sitting thinking, I've got ideas, I'm creative, but I'm not sure how to get it done, it's a lot easier than you think.
Oh, yeah.
What the Lennon Bus does is drop in and they lift the veil off of every person they talk to. We're doing the same thing.
Yep.
If you're out there hearing this thinking, I want my kid to get involved as well, that's where we come in. That's where the Lennon Bus comes in. MacSales.com is our direct channel. We've got an incredible amount of really affordable, even used Macs mixed with hard drives. You can get a full end-to-end recording setup for like less than $450 through MacSales.com.
Yeah.
That's the stuff that keeps us going. We sell $5,000 hard drives to Warner Brothers to make incredible motion pictures. We're also passionate about that. But it doesn't work if you don't inspire the new generation.
Sure.
And it's never been easier to do it.
Well,
So,
you keep saying it's never been easier, and it hasn't. And like, here's the future.
Yep.
Right, it's here right now.
Oh, it's here.
yeah.
Crazy.
We're here.
That's it.
2018. Look at that
Yep.
thing.
You're going to see a lot of these all over every movie set in the world, likely in the next 24 months.
I agree,
Yeah.
and let's not forget, we're all carrying around, 4K studios in our pockets, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Like, don't be shy to pull out your camera and give it to your kid. let him shoot a video.
Yeah.
Right? It's that simple. Right?
And then buy him a hard drive.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then
Right?
buy your kid a hard drive.
Right.
Like
Merry
invest in their
Christmas.
future.
Yeah, it's cheaper and
Yeah.
more accessible than it's ever been.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you see that spark in your kid and you want to make it happen, there's no excuse not to dig in and kind of really make that work. These guys inspire this kind of conversation.
Yeah.
We want to inspire the same kinds of conversation. That's what makes us tick.
Well, I can tell you this, man. When you offered that we could come on the bus and do this, I've always wanted to come on this bus, right? I was a
Awesome.
singer-songwriter out here in LA for a
Cool.
long time, and I almost a few times submitted for this competition.
Oh.
And I choked at the last minute. I was like, nah, I'm not
We gotta
gonna
get
do
you a
it.
guitar,
Yeah,
man.
I'm
This is
not
your
gonna do
spot.
it. And so when you said, oh, do you want to go do it on the bus?
Cool.
I was like, you're damn right I want to do it on the bus.
Cool.
I got to see that thing. So this was a little mini dream for me to come true and come on here and do this. So
Yeah.
thank you for that.
Thank you.
Frank
Absolutely.
and Thor, man, thank you guys for
Yeah.
sitting down with us. Good luck to you with this stuff. This sounds amazing. And glad you had a good time at Sundance. And thank the John Lennon Educational Foundation and Tour Bus for having us aboard. And we'll see you guys out on the road.
Thanks.